There's been a ton of news dropping these last couple of weeks around the amusement park industry, and Jason and I are ready to fully dive in, as well as count down our top 5 most anticipated coasters of 2023. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, guys? It is Coasters and Things here today, and ladies and gentlemen, the thrill life is back.
Let's go.
I'm once again joined by Nick Beyond the Thrills for another series.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How you been, Jason? It's been a while.
It has been a while. I've been really good recently.
Yeah, I've been busy myself, but glad we're back doing this. It was weird not doing it for over a month, right?
Yeah, about 6 or 7 weeks. We took an extended break. For those of you who don't know, we took a break after the first series ended.
Yeah, just with the holidays and everything going on with school for both of us. Yeah, it was just a busy time of year. But glad we're back. We got a lot to dive into today. So let's jump right into it. So let's start here. So obviously, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
What was announced in the industry while we were away? So Jason, hit us with one thing real quick.
First off, Six Flags Fiesta Texas on December 10th, they announced they are getting the first ever Biscotti Bowl coasters by Skyline Attractions. It's a set of dueling kids coasters that are single rail kids coasters, actually.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on both of these models?
They look okay. They look more unique than your traditional kids coaster like your Zamperla or E&F.
Yeah, I think of the three, I think we can both agree with this. Zamperla, you're talking about the family gravity coasters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those rides suck.
I hate those rides so much.
Yeah, I mean, the E&F Miler kiddie coasters, like all the Bubbles clones, they're pretty good, but they're not. I think these will be better.
Yeah, and then on January 14th, a little over a month after that, Six Flags Over Georgia announced they're getting the same thing.
Yeah. Will it be open, though, around the time I'm planning to go to Georgia? We'll talk about that a little bit later in the episode.
Hint, hint.
Yeah. That's a big question. But yeah, overall, I'd say they're both good rides for both parks. You know, family coasters. You can never go wrong with a family coaster.
Yeah, what will it be named, though? I have no idea.
Honestly, do you know where they're putting it at Over Georgia? Because I know they just like revamped their whole DC area, and now Mindbender is the Riddler Mindbender, right?
Yes.
Could be DC themed if they put it over there.
Everyone's saying it's going to go where Splashwater Falls was before, which I'm sure you've heard. Six Flags Over Georgia, that area where Splashwater Falls was before, has been abandoned for like 5 years. It's just been sitting there. That ride was recently demolished at the end of a little over a year ago, finally. But the land is still there.
Yeah, so it probably is going there, unless they have plans to add like another big attraction in that space years down the line. But yeah, it's probably going there.
I was hoping for an RMC Raptor in that spot because it would fit there, I think.
Yeah, they don't. Well, are you talking like the Wonder Woman, like Railblazer clone?
Yeah, not Jersey Devil.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jersey Devil and Wonder Woman. Those are Wonder Woman at Magic Mountain. Yeah, those are a lot more spread out, where the other ones are more compact. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's gonna be built where you're talking about and all in that empty space. Then it probably won't be DC theming. Although who knows? It's Six Flags. It could still be DC.
I hope, honestly, it's not there. I hope it'd be somewhere else because, honestly, I feel like that would be wasted space that they could have used for something better.
Something better and something bigger. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the next one I have here is the Whip at Hershey Park is closing. They announced this, last week?
Yeah. What day was it? It was like 4 or 5 days ago.
Right. This is like very recent. Very, very recent. So what are your thoughts? I know you went on the Whip multiple times at Hershey.
Actually, only one time. But
Oh, really? I thought you went on it a couple times.
I didn't care for it that much, honestly, because to me, It doesn't have nearly as much force when you go around the turns as older whips do. For those of you who don't know, this whip actually was manufactured in 1997. Most whips were manufactured in like the 1920s or 30s.
Yeah, like the one at Dorney Park, I'm almost positive is the oldest one left in the US.
It is. It's the world's oldest whip. The one at
Oh,
Dorney.
the world? Oh, awesome. I didn't
Mhm.
realize that. I thought it was just the US. I thought there was maybe like a few older ones like outside of the US at other parks, but that's cool.
Yeah, all those have way more force when you go around the turn than the Hershey Park one does. Not to mention the Hershey Park one is stupidly loud.
I never went on the whip at Hershey. Never
Really?
went on it. No. And
Mm.
I've been going to Hershey since I was little, but I never went on the whip at Hershey. I never just got around to it. I've been on the one at Dorney multiple times, and I even went on the one. Isn't there one at Knoebels?
Yes. Yep.
I did the one at Knoebels. Yeah, I was gonna say there. I think there's one at Knoebels. I also did the one at Dutch Wonderland, which is like a very small version of the whip.
Yeah, the kitty whip. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a smaller version. I did that a lot when I was younger too. But yeah, never did the whip at Hershey. So I don't know. I'm not really that upset that they're removing this. I mean, yeah, it's like a classic ride, but this is Hershey. We could see something better in that spot.
Yeah, because honestly, I didn't care for Webb. Not really a huge loss, if you ask me. And speaking of Hershey Park, Tidal Force is rumored to be getting removed as well.
I didn't know that. Wow. Where'd you read that?
People's Instagram stories about it being closed. And Hershey Park Enthusiast talked about it as well in one of his recent videos.
Okay. Yeah. Can't go wrong with him. I'd say he's a valid source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on with Hershey right now, even outside of Wildcats Revenge. I was going to ask you this. So you think, because the Music Express is right next to the Whip, do you think that they could remove the Music Express because that's just like a carnival fair ride that they can take down at any time if they wanted to?
Not this year. Possibly in the future. Not this year, though.
Yeah, but do you think they could, since they're getting rid of the Whip, the Music Express is right next to it. You think they could take out both of those and add something in that spot bigger?
I'd love to see that happen, honestly.
Yeah, probably not a roller coaster. It's not that much room, but maybe another flat ride.
Because honestly, comparing those rides to other models at different Pennsylvania parks, the for Music Express, Cosmotron at Knoebels is way better, and for the Whip at Dorney Park is way better.
All right, next one I have is Splash Mountain is permanently closed now. This closed last week.
Yeah, it closed on January 23rd, a little over a week ago.
Right.
This actually makes me so sad. That was Splash Mountain. Yeah, was my favorite log flume that I've ever done.
Yeah, definitely a classic, but it's not going away entirely. It'll be Tiana's Bayou or Venture or something, right?
Yep. And actually, Splash Mountain at Disneyland is rumored to be closing soon as well for the same thing.
Yeah. See, I don't like that. Like, you gotta have the parks have to have their own original attractions. Like, I know It's a Small World at Disneyland is different than the one at Magic Kingdom, but it's a small world.
Yeah, although the difference is, It's a Small World is so boring. Splash Mountain is actually good.
Well, yeah, but that's a different conversation.
Don't you agree?
I do, and my grandparents, if you're watching this, you know exactly what I'm about to say. They got stuck on that ride for 3 hours back in like the 80s as the song was on repeat. It's a small world. Yeah. Yeah, Splash Mountain is closing, and then the next one I have here is Super Nintendo World soft opened.
Yes. This looks fantastic. I'm a big Nintendo fan, so this looks incredible.
Yeah, same here. Unreal, just unreal. The theming just looks out of this world. And the thing about Super Nintendo World that I'm most impressed about is the restaurant.
What's the restaurant like? I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's like you go inside Toad's head.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. But like even the queue line for the Mario, it's like Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, either that or Mario Kart Bowser's Castle. I can't remember. It's one of those two names.
Yeah. The queue line in itself looks just as good as the attraction. There's like statues of Bowser and there's all the different power-ups on the wall and it's like you're going through the castle. It's just so immersive, so
Yeah,
freaking cool.
the part where you go through Rainbow Road, that looks so cool.
I know. Yeah, the theming just looks out of this world. I don't know when I'll ever get to Universal Hollywood. Definitely not this year because I have other plans this year
Yeah,
that I already have like in the works. So not this year, but if I can get there next year in 2024, yeah, I'll just be so stoked. I mean,
finally, a reason to go to Universal Hollywood over Universal Orlando.
yeah, that's true. Well, when's Epic Universe supposed to open? Like 2025?
2025, yeah.
Yeah. So still a few years away from that. So yeah.
So on January 8th, Mock Tower at Busch Gardens Williamsburg closed forever.
Were you surprised?
A little, but at the same time, like nobody liked it.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that of the two Busch Gardens parks, Falcon's Fury.
It wasn't even close between the two of those for which one was better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I heard Mock Tower had really bad restraints. I never got to ride it.
Okay. Gotcha. All right,
And
next one I have here is you got one more thing?
I was going to say, will they replace it with a better drop tower or with something else?
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I mean, I would think so. Like, this is a major theme park, and that's like one of your like signature attractions. Like, I feel like every major theme park has a drop tower, so it would be weird for Busch Gardens Williamsburg to not have a drop tower.
Yeah, including Dollywood now that a few years ago they finally got drop line.
True. All right, next thing I have here is both Happily Ever After at Magic Kingdom and Epcot Forever at Epcot. The two beloved fireworks shows are returning in April. So, Disney fans, if you're watching this, congratulations. As for me, a fireworks show is a fireworks show to me. As long as it's cool and there's good music, I'm fine with it. But I know there's like fandom behind both of these fireworks shows.
To me, those shows will never be as good as Illuminations and Wishes were. The OG fireworks shows that they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, that's true. I just know a lot of like Disney bloggers and just anyone that loves Disney in general are stoked that both of these shows are coming back. But as for me and you too, it doesn't really thrill us all that much.
Yeah, rightfully so, though. I mean, the fireworks show is always nice to look at. And the projections on Cinderella's Castle on Happily Ever After, I think it's called.
Yeah.
One Magic Kingdom. Yeah, the projections are great. Fantastic.
The projections on the Hollywood Hotel, the Tower of Terror, that show looks more impressive than the one on Cinderella's Castle to me. That might be an unpopular opinion.
You know what show I wish would come back at Disney? Rivers of Light. That show was amazing.
Yeah, I'll actually give you that. Another thing related to Disney here is the Walt Disney World Railroad reopened finally.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of trains, aside from roller coasters, so I'm excited about this. Last time that sucker operated was 2018, I think.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Then it closed for 4 years, and then last December it finally reopened again.
Right. So yeah, very cool. I saw a video. I'm a big fan of the Tim Tracker. I watch his channel quite often, and like the week that the railroad reopened, they both Tim and Jen took their son Jackson to ride the railroad for the first time. So that was cool to see. One more thing I have here, and then I'm sure you have a few more things written down, Jason, but I wanted to talk about Cedar Point. They released a video like right after New Year's, like I forget what the date was, but they released a video that Top Thrill Dragster is to stay.
We think. Well, it's obviously staying, but
maybe not as Top Thrill Dragster, but the coaster itself is returning in 2024. It could have LSMs. It could be, called a different name, but it's staying. Like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but what did they say in the video again? I can't remember.
It was just like a cinematic montage of clips, and then at the end, it said returning in 2024. I'm almost positive.
A new formula for thrills. That's what it was. Coming 2024.
I think it's LSMs, but
But a new formula for thrills. Does that mean it's going to be themed to Formula One racing?
yeah, that's true. I just can't imagine Cedar Point would not call it Top Thrill Dragster. Like, I just can't imagine that they'll actually change the name. I mean, it's such an iconic name.
It's so hard to think that they would change the name of that coaster.
Yeah, and I just can't imagine that Cedar Point fanboys would be happy if they no longer play Ready to Go in the station, because that's a big, like, signature, like, thing about that ride as well.
I mean, they played it in the video.
True.
So,
All right, what else do you have here?
let me look. Oh, duh. On January 10th, Disney announced that Tron Light Cycle Run is finally opening on April 4th.
Let's go. When I go to Disney in May, it should be open. Disney, don't do this to me.
Yep. That ride looks so good. It'll easily be the best Disney coaster, I think.
Cosmic Rewind?
I think Cosmic Rewind looks a little overrated, honestly.
Ooh, that's a bit of a hot take, but we'll talk about that a little later, because that's
good, but I think people overhype it a lot.
Yeah, all right. I want to hear your thoughts on that a little bit later, because that will be brought up again later in this episode. You'll see why. All right, what else do you have?
That actually is all I had that we haven't touched on yet.
That's everything? Okay, one more thing I wanted to mention is that Mindbender at Galaxyland is closing.
Yeah. How can I forget that? That was announced yesterday. Jeez, that was so bad. That's embarrassing.
I don't know. I thought you had it written down, but it's all good. I'm not too surprised. I mean,
I am. I'm so
really
sad. I really wanted to ride that.
I'm not saying that I didn't want to ride it too, but I'm not surprised. Like, how long has it been closed? Since COVID, right?
It happened, yeah. Yep.
So what's that, like, going on almost 3 years?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. I mean, Galaxyland will most likely add another roller coaster in its former spot.
They already said they're replacing it with family rides.
They did?
Yeah.
No. So then their best coaster is going to be the Gerstlauer Spinner. Now they really can't compete with any of the Nickelodeon Universe parks.
Yeah.
Because I thought for a while that Galaxyland looked better than both Nickelodeon Universe parks, but now with the removal of Mindbender and, you know, just a couple family rides, I don't know if I'd agree with that anymore.
Although they didn't say that a roller coaster isn't coming in the future. So I know a lot of people are suggesting Gene Staples come in and save Mindbender, but here, let me tell you, that is not going to happen. And here's why. When they were building Galaxyland, Mindbender was built into the wall side, or the side of the walls.
Yeah, and Schwarzkopf is defunct, so if they were to replace any pieces of track, they can't, unless they, I mean, yeah, it's impossible. There's no way that Mindbender's getting scrapped. There's no way.
You can relocate a Schwarzkopf. I mean, American Dryer Looping proved that. But that one was built on flat ground.
Exactly.
Built into the wall side. So unless they find a way to like make up a new support structure for it, I don't think they can move it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I just feel like it's impossible. Would I love to see it at another park and see what they could do with it? Yeah, but I just don't see a world where that can happen.
It's sad because it looked like probably either the best Schwarzkopf or the second best Schwarzkopf. Either that or Olympia Looping.
Yeah, I was going to say Olympia Looping. They're close, but, rest in peace, Mindbender. And that's that for Galaxyland. So, now, our last portion of this episode. I think it's been good. Been a good episode so far. Glad to be back. What about you?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm happy to do this again.
Yeah. So now, to end off this episode, we are going to list off our top 5 most anticipated coasters of 2023. So, Jason, if you want to mention in brief, that your list isn't like finalized. I don't know how to describe it.
My list isn't quite finalized because I don't know for sure what parks I'm going to this year. I have some rough guesses that I've put into this list. 2 of them two of them I know for sure that I'll be riding. One of them I'm very confident I'm riding. The other two are 50-50.
Gotcha. All right, so let's start with your number 5. We'll go 5-1.
Okay, first off, I want to say at the last second, I changed the list a little bit right before we started this video. But anyways,
I changed mine yesterday after you. Well, I'm not going to give it away, but you probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, go ahead.
number 5, actually, for me, I have Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Islands of Adventure. This is one of the two that I said is 50-50 that I'll probably be riding this year. The ride looks so great. It has 7 launches, the most launches on any roller coaster in the world.
Yeah. I'm not going to say too much now because whatever. I'll just give it away. That's on my list too. But go ahead.
Not to mention, it has a drop track, which I finally experienced my first drop track a little over a month ago in Italy.
And that was Inferno, right?
Inferno, yeah. But and it has theming, which I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, but it's very heavily themed. It's the most expensive roller coaster in the world. $300 million were put into that sucker.
Yeah, every little detail went into that attraction and more. I'd argue that's probably the best attraction in terms of theming, maybe in the world. Like, it's just ridiculous how much went into that ride.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's the best family coaster in the world, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't even think I don't know many rides that come close, at least in terms of theming. I mean, what's its max speed? Like 60 miles an hour?
50 miles an hour.
50 miles an hour. Okay, so nothing like extreme. So it is a family coaster, but here's what I will say. The theming adds to the ride. If you were to just put that coaster in the middle of farmland with nothing around it,
it would
still be good, but it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah. In my opinion, if you ask me, 50 miles an hour is the cutoff point between family coaster and thrill coaster.
What's Copperhead Strike?
50. But Copperhead goes upside down 5 times, so it's a thrill coaster.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, Hagrids would still be a great ride if it didn't have all that theming, but like there's certain coasters that would still be great, I feel like, even if they had no theming at all. Like Cannibal at Lagoon, that has a lot of like rock work and there's a lot that just goes around the ride. If you put that coaster in the middle of farmland, I still feel like it would be awesome.
Yeah, and I want to say real quick, sorry, Incredible Hulk, you barely missed the list for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I picked Hagrid's over Hulk because the launches and the theming, overall experience.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. All right, so my number 5 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot.
Yeah.
The theming, enough said there.
Self-explanatory.
The train design intrigues me. When they announced this attraction, I thought it was really cool how the trains operate. They're kind of like an axis, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yep.
Very cool train design, and it just shows that Vekoma has come a long way.
They have, yeah. And it's the world's longest indoor coaster.
True.
The only style of track in an indoor coaster.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different songs, so every time you ride the coaster, you'll get a different song. I know one of them is Disco Inferno. I think another one is Iran.
Yeah, September by Earth, Wind & Fire, I think.
Yeah, so a lot of 80s songs. So that is cool. Like when you get on the ride, you don't know what song you're going to get until you launch. So that adds another excitement factor to it. I don't know what the word is, but you get my gist.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, now you do your number 4.
All right. Number 4, I have Prowler at Worlds of Fun, actually. I'm very confident that I'm going to get to Worlds of Fun this year because me and my friend Tyler, actually, we've been discussing the possibility of doing a Missouri coaster trip to hit the 3 Missouri parks in May.
So that'd be Silver Dollar City, Worlds of Fun, and Six Flags St. Louis?
Yeah, he's never been to any of those parks.
Quick question. This is a little off topic, but how close are all those parks to one another?
St. Louis and Worlds of Fun are 2.5 hours away from each other. Worlds of
Uh,
Fun and Silver Dollar City are 3.5.
yeah, that'd be a lot of driving. I'd assume you'll fly and then rent a car.
Not sure. We don't know.
Yeah,
It is a long drive over there, though.
yeah. Save up.
But yeah, I picked Prowler. I thought about putting Zambezi Zinger there, but I picked Prowler because I think I'd like Prowler more than Zambezi Zinger. Because everyone says Prowler is a smaller version of Mystic Timbers, and Mystic Timbers is fantastic.
Yeah, I will say this about Zambezi Zinger though. I think it's looking a lot better than people are putting it out to be. Like I've seen recent photos online recently of just like on social media of them doing the construction, and it's really built into the land, which is
Mhm.
very cool.
Yeah, yep. I just hope Prowler is smooth. I hope Prowler is smooth. Because,
I don't hear it's that rough.
GCIs can be hit or miss as to whether they're smooth.
What's the smoothest one? You've been on, I think, more GCIs than I have.
The smoothest GCI I've been on is Mystic Timbers.
Okay.
What?
Where's Lightning Racer rank for all of them that you've done?
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack.
In terms of smoothness. I'll say though, in most states, Prowler would easily be the best wooden coaster in the state. If it were in most any other states, the only reason why it isn't is because you have a freaking RMC wooden coaster 3.5 hours south.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know of many people that like Prowler more than Outlaw Run, despite how rough Outlaw Run is and the reputation it has now.
It's smooth. It's rough for an RMC. Still smooth overall, though.
Oh, you saw on we didn't even mention this. You saw on Silver Dollar City's story Instagram the other day. They
Yeah.
posted a date. What do you think that's all about?
Everyone's saying the new Fire in the Hole. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't believe it yet.
I saw a couple people say that they think Outlaw Run is going to get retracked. I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, right. I don't believe that.
Yeah, no. All right. My number 4 is Hagrid's Magical Creatures. The name goes on forever. Not much more than what Jason had to say. The theming, the drop track. I think it's very cool that it goes backwards and there's like all the smoke and fog effects and just everything that goes into it. So,
AKA Hagrids, blah 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 blah.
yeah, we had Owen and Austin, Park Hoppers Radio, on with us back in December, and they talked a lot about Hagrids. Go check out that episode if you haven't already. And I believe it was Owen who said his favorite coaster at Universal is Hagrid's based off a night ride he got during the fireworks. So I think Hagrid's is just one of those rides that it matters what kind of experience you get. And I don't know of many people that say they got a bad experience on Hagrid's.
I don't see how you couldn't like Hagrid's. It looks so good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, hit us with your number 3.
I'm pretty sure our top 3 are the same 3 coasters, just maybe in a different order.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, they might not be. But anyways, at number 3, I have Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I thought about it. Obviously, Pantheon looks like the best coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Is it well themed? No, but the coaster itself looks fantastic. Yeah. The coaster itself looks fantastic. It's got the swing launch, I think it's called. The high speed switch track. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's got the Outer Bank turn, kind of like Steel Vengeance has. It's got the really super long stall as well.
Yeah, the layout looks awesome. I want to ask you this. Now, obviously, comparing Pantheon and Veloster Coaster is something that a lot of coaster enthusiasts like to do. But just not even talking about the theming with Veloster Coaster. If you were to just put these two coasters next to each other in the middle of grassland and say which layout is stronger, what would you pick?
Pantheon. In terms of layout, Pantheon.
I probably would too. Yeah, I really probably would. That's not to say Veloster Coaster's layout looks bad at all, but I feel like Pantheon just there's more to it. Like, I guess I'll just go into it now. Pantheon is my number 3.
I knew it was going to be.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we have the same top 3, and I think we do.
Yeah. The vertical rollback, I think, looks very cool. I love how you like almost make it up the top hat, and then you slowly come back down, and then you launch even faster. That looks so cool.
Yep. Too bad too bad they couldn't go 1 mile an hour faster to make it the fastest coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. They still want Apollo's Chariot to be the fastest.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, when it's hauling at night, it might go faster than Apollo's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, Pantheon's both of our number 3.
Yeah, and then hit us with your number 2.
Okay, this was so tough. I really had a hard time picking between this and the number 1 spot, but I didn't want to have to do this. However, coming in at my number 2 spot is Veloster Coaster, Islands of Adventure.
Woo! All right, our lists are different.
Okay, so this is the other one that is 50-50 as to whether I'm riding it this year. But Veloster Coaster looks incredible. I mean, a lot of people claim it's the greatest roller coaster in the world. It has the best of everything. Theming and thrills, good restraints, fast top speed, fast operations, everything right.
There's just too much about Veloster Coaster that it's hard to say. There's just so much that went into that ride that there's just so much to say in one sentence.
Yeah, if you were to ask a person, pick a favorite element on Veloster Coaster, that'd be so hard. That's such a hard question to answer.
I'll answer that in about 5 minutes. So I'll say my number 2, and then we'll get there. So Veloster Coaster is not my number 2. My number 2 is Air Force One at Fun Spot Atlanta. So I mentioned this earlier in the episode. Currently, there is a trip in the works between me, Jason, and my friend Nathaniel at Hawk OG on Instagram, or Hawk0G. I don't know how you say it, but we're hoping to get out to both Fun Spot Atlanta and Six Flags Over Georgia sometime in the next couple of months. The only thing that's holding us back now from really booking everything is, when is Air Force One going to open? Yeah. I'm dying to know, as well as Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Or Jason. When do you think it's going to open? Like, honestly.
March. My guess is March.
Like the same weekend that Six Flags Over Georgia opens, or
the same weekend or the weekend after?
See, I'd assume that there will be a soft opening for like the media before it actually opens to the public. So I could see the soft opening in March and then to the public in April. I think the element on that coaster that I'm most looking forward to is it's between a couple. The Raven Trust Dive, and the stall under the drop, and then the outward banked hill, I think is what it's called.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Of those 3, which one do you think will be your favorite?
The 0G stall, definitely. I love a good 0G stall. They're fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Air Force One just looks fantastic. I've said this since they were building it. I think it has the potential to be one of the best RMCs ever built.
Oh,
it's also really cool. It's also really cool how it's right by the highway.
It is. It's right by the highway because you're driving. It's just trees, roller coaster.
That's going to be really cool. Like when we're driving up to the park and then we just look to our, I guess, to our left. Yeah. Look to our left and look, it's an RMC. So that's cool.
It's like Holiday World. You're just driving up, you see nothing, roller coaster.
Right. All right. So then I assume your number 1 is Bubbles.
Sure. Just kidding. My number 1 is Air Force One at Fun Spot Atlanta. I thought really hard between this and Veloster Coaster, for which is my number 1. I picked Air Force One, though, because I know for a fact I'm riding it this year.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought you were going to say Flight of the Hippogriff, but that's all right. Air Force One.
Anyways, it is my most anticipated new for 2023 coaster, and it's not really close. I'm so stoked. Ever since this coaster was announced, I've been like, I want to ride this thing so bad. You're
lucky to have it so close to you, too. Like, besides Jersey Devil, the closest, like, RMC iBox to me is Wicked Cyclone, which is a great ride. Don't get me wrong, at Six Flags New England, but I think Air Force One looks that much better.
Wicked Cyclone is closer to you than Twisted Timbers is?
Yeah, I think so. like
Okay.
by like an hour. Obviously, the completely opposite direction, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm gonna have 3 RMCs all within 2 hours of me. That still blows my mind.
that is crazy. And I also don't love Jersey Devil all that much. So, like, looking back, I wish Great Adventure would have gotten an RMC I box than a single rail. That's not to say I don't think single rails are cool. Like, I want to ride Wonder Woman at Fiesta or Railblazer just to like really, see
Wonder
the difference.
Wonder Woman at Fiesta. That ride literally tries to break your neck. It is so
Is
aggressive
it more aggressive than Jersey Devil?
by a mile.
Yeah, I don't think Jersey Devil is like that aggressive. Like there are times where it'll throw me out of my seat, and then there's other times where like that's it. I just kind of like pop up out of my seat, and you don't really feel anything.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it doesn't hit like the other RMCs, if that makes sense. So
But
yeah,
for me, yeah,
Air Force One, yeah.
I'm also looking forward to the barrel roll over the building, the arcade.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that's really cool is that they're really like using obviously they're using the land that's there, but they're even going beyond that and they're like building on top of other buildings.
Yeah,
Cool.
I know someone said, why demolish a building when you can build over it?
That is the greatest statement ever. Like, why not?
It's a good point.
Yeah. And Fun Spot was like, all right, bet we'll do that. So then there you go. My number one. You got anything else?
Sorry, I was gonna say it still like amazes me that that's coming to a family park.
Yeah, crazy. It'll go down as the best attraction to ever be built at any Fun Spot park, I think.
It'll go down as probably the best investment that any family park ever made in terms of a roller coaster.
Yeah, I would say so. All right. And now, number one for me is
Bubbles.
Joker's Funhouse Coaster at Six Flags Over Georgia. The airtime just looks. Nah, I'm playing. Number one is Veloster Coaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Surprise, surprise. The theming, and you asked me before of all the elements on Velocicoaster, which one looks like it will be my favorite? Probably the what is it called? Like the Mosasaurus roll.
Yeah, the Mosasaurus roll. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the ride. Either that or the second launch into the top hat. The first launch looks okay. The second launch looks pretty wild.
For me, it's between the roll and the stall.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like stalls, but I don't know. Just the roll over the water looks like so nauseating. I know that sounds like crazy to say, but like that looks so cool. So yeah, Velocicoaster is my number one. I really don't have much else to say other than what you had to say. This looks incredible. I think the best coaster at Universal, probably the best coaster in Florida too.
I had a feeling our top 3 was going to be the same, maybe a different order, but same 3 coasters, and it was.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully you're able to get out to Florida, and hopefully everything goes through with our plans to Georgia, and everything stays set. And like you said, there could be some parks that you'll get to that you didn't even think you were going to get to. So
yeah,
looking back on this podcast in about 5 months, you could have been like, man, I would have had that coaster on there, not knowing I would have went on it.
that's true. Yeah.
So, you never know. All right. Anything else you got here, man? Or are we going to wrap up?
I think that's about it.
Yeah. Great episode. Glad to be back. If you want to see any of the other episodes of The Thrill Life, check them out on the channel. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I'll leave it to Jason.
Yeah, so it's great to be back. We're back for Series 2. Stay tuned. We do these every week. And by the way, in case you didn't notice, we have a new poster now.
Yeah, so these are all my photos that I took this summer. So obviously you got Sky Rush, Candymonium, Storm Runner, Rougarou, Raptor, and Maverick. You can check out all those photos on my Instagram as well as our podcast logo and our logos.
3 Cedar Point coasters and 3 Hershey Park coasters. Nice.
Gotta love it. Yep, I'm really happy with the poster as a whole and just those photos that I took this year. They're probably some of my best photos I have ever taken. So I'm proud of
Yeah.
myself for that. So I wouldn't say I'm this great photographer either, but I'm
And
getting better.
in the future, we may even give you guys a chance to purchase one of these posters for yourself if you want to.
Yeah, we're thinking about starting a merchandise store soon, which will not only have Thrill Life merchandise, but coasters and things and Beyond the Thrills as well. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for all that. A lot in the works and, big things coming from here.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Beyond the Thrills, for joining me this week and for this series. And this is Coasters and Things, and
Beyond the Thrills.
signing out.